In 399 BCE, the city of Athens did something that still unsettles historians and philosophers. It sentenced one of its most famous citizens to death. The man was Socrates, a philosopher, a teacher, a relentless questioner. Athens was not a dictatorship. It was not ruled by a tyrant. It was a democracy. In fact, Athens is often described as the birthplace of democracy. So the question remains, did democracy kill Socrates? To understand this, we must first understand Athens itself. In the late 5th century BCE, Athens was powerful but unstable. It had recently lost the Peloponnesian War to Sparta. Its empire had weakened. Its political system had faced internal turmoil. At one point, a brief oligarchic regime known as the 30 Tyrants had taken control. Democracy had been suspended. Executions had taken place. Trust in institutions had eroded. When democracy was restored, it was fragile, suspicious, sensitive to threats. It was in this environment that Socrates lived and taught. Socrates did not write books. Everything we know about him comes primarily from his student Plato and from other Athenian writers. He spent his days in public spaces, marketplaces, gymnasiums, gatherings, engaging citizens in conversation. He asked questions, relentless questions. What is justice? What is virtue? What is courage? What is knowledge? And more importantly, do you truly understand what you claim to know? His method was simple. He would question someone who claimed expertise. Through calm and careful dialogue, he would reveal contradictions, gaps in logic, unexamined assumptions. Many found this enlightening. Others found it humiliating. Powerful men did not enjoy being publicly exposed as intellectually unprepared. Over time, Socrates developed a reputation, not as a rebel, but as a destabilizer. He did not flatter democracy. In fact, he often criticized it. He questioned whether leadership should be based on popularity rather than wisdom. He compared political decision-making to skilled crafts. Would you let just anyone pilot a ship? Would you let a random citizen perform surgery? Then why allow any citizen to make complex political decisions? These ideas were dangerous in a democracy, especially one that had recently survived political chaos. In 399 BCE, formal charges were brought against him. The charges were impiety, failing to acknowledge the gods of the city, and corrupting the youth. The accusation of corrupting the youth may sound vague, but it carried weight. Several of Socrates' former students had been associated with anti-democratic movements. Critias, one of the 30 tyrants, had once been close to Socrates. Although Socrates did not support the regime, the association raised suspicion. To many Athenians, he was not just a philosopher. He was a man whose ideas might undermine civic unity. His trial took place before a large citizen jury, likely around 500 men. This was standard Athenian legal procedure. There were no professional judges, no lawyers. Citizens argued their own cases. Socrates did not beg for mercy. He did not present emotional appeals. Instead, he defended his life of questioning. He claimed he was performing a public service, like a gadfly, he said, stinging the lazy horse of Athens into awareness. He argued that silencing him would harm the city, not protect it. His defense was calm, unapologetic. Some say it was even defiant. When the jury voted, he was found guilty. The margin was not overwhelming, but it was enough. After the guilty verdict, he was given the opportunity to propose an alternative punishment: exile, a fine. He could have chosen to leave Athens. He refused. Exile, he argued, would simply move the problem elsewhere. If questioning authority angered Athens, it would anger other cities too. In the end, the sentence was death. He was to drink a cup of hemlock, a common method of execution in Athens.
In his final days, friends urged him to escape. They had arranged it. The guards could be bribed. He could live. He refused again. To flee, he believed, would violate the laws he had lived under his entire life, even if those laws had condemned him. And so he remained. According to Plato's account, Socrates drank the poison calmly, surrounded by students, discussing philosophy until the end. Now we return to the central question. Did democracy kill Socrates? Technically, yes. The decision was made by a democratic jury. The process followed legal procedure. But democracy is not simply majority rule. It depends on tolerance of dissent, on protection of unpopular speech, on the ability to question power without fear. In 399 BCE, Athens was insecure, recovering from war, fearful of instability, suspicious of intellectuals associated with past turmoil. Socrates represented discomfort. He questioned assumptions. He exposed ignorance. He challenged civic pride. In a confident democracy, these voices can strengthen the system. In a fragile one, they can feel threatening. It is possible that Athens did not execute Socrates because he was evil or because he was dangerous in a violent sense, but because he was inconvenient, because his questions unsettled a city still healing from political wounds. History often remembers Athens as the champion of democratic ideals, yet the trial of Socrates reminds us that democracy, like any system, can become defensive. It can mistake criticism for disloyalty. It can prioritize unity over inquiry. Socrates did not lead a rebellion. He did not call for revolution. He asked questions, and sometimes questions are more destabilizing than swords. In the centuries that followed, his execution became symbolic, a warning about the tension between free thought and political power. The philosopher who died for questioning, the democracy that silenced dissent. But history is rarely simple. Athens was not a modern liberal democracy. Its institutions were experimental. Its citizens were navigating a volatile era. The trial of Socrates reflects that complexity. So, did democracy kill Socrates? Or did fear kill him? Was it majority rule or political insecurity? Perhaps the deeper lesson is this: no system is immune to suppressing voices that make it uncomfortable, even one built on participation and debate. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Athens examined him and decided he was too dangerous to keep. The irony is enduring. A democracy condemned a philosopher for questioning it, and in doing so, ensured that his questions would echo for more than 2,000 years. This is Untoldia, and sometimes the most revealing stories are not about empires that fall, but about ideas that refuse to die.